Hello guys, we would be talking about how to install Kubernetes in this lecture. We will take a look at some of the ways to install and get started with Kubernetes. We will look at the following 5 things. Number 1, play with Kubernetes. Number 2, using Minikube to install Kubernetes on a laptop. Number 3, installing Kubernetes in the Google Cloud with the Google Container Engine GKE. Number 4, installing Kubernetes on AWS using the kops tool. And number 5, installing Kubernetes manually using kubedm, which is KUBEADM. A couple of things to point out before diving in. First, there are a lot more ways to install Kubernetes. The option I have chosen for this lecture are the ones I think will be the most useful in helping us learn. Secondly, Kubernetes is a fast moving project. This means some of the things we will discuss here will change, but there is nothing to worry. I'm keeping the lectures up to date, so nothing will be irrelevant. So, coming on to the first one, play with Kubernetes. So, play with Kubernetes is a web-based Kubernetes playground that you can use for free. All you need is a web browser and an internet connection. It is the fastest and easiest way to get your hands on the Kubernetes. Let's see what it looks like. Number 1, point your browser at http play-with-k8s.com. So which is play-with-k8s.com. Number 2, confirm that you are a human and click plus add new instance. You will be presented with a terminal window in the right of your browser. This is Kubernetes node or node 1. Now number 3, run a few commands to see some of the components pre-installed on the node. As you can see on the screen, the top one where I am pointing by my mouse cursor. As the output shows, the node already has a Docker and Kubernetes-1, the Kubernetes client, pre-installed. Other tools including kubeadm are also pre-installed. It is also worth noting that although the command prompt is $, we are actually running as root on the node. You can confirm this with whoami or id commands. Now, moving on to number 4. Use the kubeadm command to initialize a new cluster. When you added a new instance in step 2, pwk give you a short list of commands that will initialize a new Kubernetes cluster. One of these was kubeadm init. The following command will initialize a new cluster and configure the API server to listen on the correct IP interface, as you can see in the screen. Congratulations, you have a brand new single node Kubernetes cluster. The node that we executed the command from, node 1, is initialized as the master. The output of the kubeadm init gives you a short list of commands. These will copy the Kubernetes config file and set permissions. You can ignore this as pwk has already configured them for you. So feel free to poke around inside of $home/.kube. So we are already done with 4 steps. Now step number 5. Use the kubeect1 command to verify the cluster, as you can see in the screen. The output shows a single node Kubernetes cluster. However, the status of the node is not ready. This is because there is no pod network configured. When you first logged on to the pwk node, you were given a list of 3 commands to configure the cluster. So far, we have only executed the first one, which is kubeadm init. So now we are done with 5 steps, and now we are moving to step number 6. In step number 6, we will initialize cluster networking, a pod network. Now copy the second command from the list of 3 commands that were printed on the screen. When you first created node 1, this will be in kubeect1 apply command. Paste it onto a new line in the terminal. In the book or in the lecture, the command may wrap over multiple lines and insert backslashes. You should remove any backslashes and input the command on a single line, as you can see in the screen here. Now, moving on to step number 7. Verify the cluster again to see if node 1 has changed to ready. Now that pod networking has been configured and the cluster has transitioned into the ready status, you are ready to add more nodes. Step number 8. Copy the kubeadm join command from the output of the kubeadm init. When you initialize the new cluster with kubeadm init, the final output of the command listed as kubeadm join command that could be used to add more nodes to the cluster. This command includes the cluster join token and the IP socket that the API server is listening on. Copy the command and be ready to paste into the terminal of new node, which is node 2. Step number 9. Click the Add New Instance button in the left pane of the PWK window. You will be given a new node called Unique Node in node 2. We will call this node 2 for the remainder of the steps. Finally, step number 10. Paste the kubeadm join command into the terminal of node 2. The join token and the IP address will be different in your environment, as you can see on the screen here. Now switch back to node 1 and run another kubeect1 get node, which you see here. Your Kubernetes cluster now has 2 nodes. Feel free to add more nodes with the kubeadm join command. Now, congratulations, you have a fully working Kubernetes cluster. So that's it for this lecture. We will discuss a few more things in the next lectures, and we will get at a granular level. Thank you.